Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the fans are not the only ones who are having a problem with what has been going on with Doctor Who lately. We have an article here from Bounding Into Comics that I thought was pretty interesting that I wanted to make a video on because it goes into talking about how the former Doctor Who lead, Christopher Elkison, I hope I'm saying that name right, declares that he will only return to the series if the BBC sacks Russell T Davies and the current creative team. So it's pretty obvious that it's not just the fans of the show that are having a problem with where their show is headed. Overall, the entire development of the show is very clearly going in a way that is more modern, let's just say, right? Like the whole modern philosophy with a lot of TV shows. But this particular one is interesting because, again, it's someone who worked on the show prior and is now having an opinion on it. So let's get into the article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. So it says, in giving a voice to the very real frustrations of the British franchise's longtime fans, actor Christopher Elkison has revealed that his one condition for even beginning to consider a reprisal of his role as the ninth incarnation of Doctor Who's titular protagonist is the removal of the series' current creative team. The first man to portray the Time Lord following the series' return from its 1989 to 2005 hiatus, Elkison spoke to his potential return to the TARDIS while speaking to attendees of a Doctor Who Q&A panel held as part of the recent 2023 edition of the UK-based For the Love of Sci-Fi Con. Now, here's the thing. You know, we say it all the time, man. There's not everybody is just woke garbage in Hollywood, and not everybody is woke garbage in the BBC. It's very clear that there are people that are fighting against this stuff, and they are active, and they're out there, but unfortunately, their voices get dwarfed in comparison to the majority, it seems like, online, right? The minority that we know is a minority in person or in real life is a huge vocal majority on social media. They get boosted to no end, so it makes their voices seem larger and more prominent than it actually is. But there are a lot of people like Christopher that are fighting against this nonsense, and I'm glad that he's saying this, especially after what happened in the recent Doctor Who special where everybody is obviously having issues with it. It says, drawing a thunderous applause, which, again, if he's drawing a thunderous applause, it's very clear that a lot of people agree with him. But apparently he got a thunderous applause from the crowd after asking if they would all love to see Christopher come back as a doctor, right? The panel's host then directly pressed Eccleston as to what would have to happen for that to become a reality. In turn, the fan favorite Doctor actor immediately and adamantly declared, sack the showrunner Russell T Davies, sack executive producer Jane Tranter, sack producer Phil Collinson, sack producer Julie Gardner, and I'll come back. Holy shit. That is amazing. He is completely calling out all the woke idiots that are currently working on Doctor Who that a lot of people have issues with. Obviously, Russell T Davies is probably the most prominent one and is the one that is behind a lot of the nonsense that's happening, especially in the recent Doctor Who TV series. But still, the fact that one of the people who played the Doctor himself is coming out against these guys are just, it's amazing. I love to see it. It says, notably, all four members of Eccleston's sacking wish list previously worked on the collective Doctor Who franchise during its revival era. Collison on the Sarah Jane Adventures, then Tranter, Gardner, and Davies on the core series before returning in 2023 to helm Nakutigatwa's current run of the role, doing so under the banner of Tranter and Gardner's Bandwolf production company. To this end, Elkison revealed that his major sticking point with Collison, Tranter, and Gardner's attachment to the show was how they supposedly took credit for the show's success after doing all they could to distance themselves from its production. And isn't that basically how it always works, right? Like the people who do the most minimal effort are usually the ones that want to try to claim the most glory. It just basically ends up that way, 9 times out of 10, you know? So it's not too shocking that that also happens in the BBC or in Hollywood or whatever. It's not too shocking at all. Is it right? Absolutely not, but it's not shocking to hear that. It says, question and follow-up by the panel host, did you find it hard to be associated with the character? Elkison adamantly declared, not at all. I love being associated with the character. I just don't like being associated with those people and the politics that went on in the first series. Oh man, the truth is coming out and I love to see it. The politics are at the forefront, ladies and gentlemen. They are at the forefront. We talk about this all the time and people try to deny it. They try to say, oh, you're just looking for stuff. You're just reaching, you're searching, you want to hate it. First off, I was never a fan of it. And second off, no, that's not the case. It's very clear that politics are taking a precedence over over everything. And that's not just for Doctor Who. That's for a lot of different TV shows. It's for a lot of different movies. It is absolutely taking precedence in all of these people's minds. The ones who are in control of the actual production of the TV show, they are heavily politically driven people. They live in their politics. That's all they think about, and that's all that they know. So it's not too shocking to see someone who was on the TV show, who played the Doctor, be completely annoyed at the fact that these people and their politics went on like crazy in the series that he was part of. It says the first series was a mess, and it wasn't to do with me or Billy, he added. It was to do with people who were supposed to make it, and it was a mess. Further elaborating on his disdain for the executives, the Thor the Dark World star recalled, and the first series of any show companion Rose Tyler actress Billie Piper did was ITV2 sex comedy series Secret Diary of a Call Girl. First series, nobody wants to know. The BBC were like, we're going to keep a big distance from this, and then as soon as it was a success, they were all up close going, I was responsible for that. But they were all at a dance like, this is a folly, he continued. This is Elkinson's folly, Piper's folly, Russell T Davies' folly, and then it worked. Suddenly, oh yeah, I worked on that. They wouldn't come anywhere near us, and then they jumped on the bandwagon, concluded Elkinson. Those kind of politics I'm not very good at handling. I can't swallow that. Hey, more power to him. I'm glad that he's actually, again, fighting against this nonsense, because companies and production studios like the BBC, they are absolutely going to try to take credit for literally anything that is even remotely successful. That's what they're going to do, and it's not too shocking. So I'm glad that he's fighting against that. But still, the fact that he is calling these people out by name just goes to show how much disdain he must have for them, how annoying and how just unbelievably annoying it probably was to work with them. So to call them out publicly like that is pretty damn strong. It says, while the former series star did not speak to his specific with Davies during this panel appearance, it appears to stem from the previously discussed breakdown of his relationship with the four across his time on Doctor Who. My relationship with my three immediately superiors, the showrunner, the producer, and the co-producer, broke down irreparably during the first block of filming, and it never recovered. Elkinson explained to UK-based entertainment news outlet Radio Times in 2018, they lost trust in me, and I lost faith and trust and belief in them. When I left, I gave my word to the then showrunner Russell T Davies that I wouldn't do anything to damage the show. He further detailed, but they did things to damage me. I didn't criticize anybody. Pressed as to whether Davies knew of Elkinson issues with his superiors, the actor declared, if you're the showrunner, you know everything. That's your job. Unfortunately, Elkinson did not note whether or not any of his anger towards the four Doctor Who stewards was based in the series' current direction. Now, he may not say that, but based off his answers prior, I can almost imagine that he probably hates where the series is going. He may not say it publicly, at least not yet anyway, but I can pretty much imagine that that is the case, because there is a lot of people that are having problems with where Doctor Who is going right now, and you know what? That's more power to them. If that's where they want to go with the show, I'm very curious to see what the viewership is going to be like for the reveal of the 15th Doctor and his ever so leftist bubble liberal freaking TV show that he apparently is coming out with. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.